Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to CharityNet USA's Wednesday afternoon webinar. We're always excited when you can join us for one of these events, and this is one I particularly enjoy giving. Social media, and how do you make social media work for nonprofits? So many people are talking about social media, and with the release of Facebook, boy, you wonder, what in the world does that have to do with my nonprofit or my church? How can I use social media for it? Well, today we're going to go over not only a few ways, but a solid 45 minutes to an hour of exactly how you can use it for your church, for your nonprofit, to further your cause, to further your mission, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So without further ado, welcome. I'm Tom Reich, and I'm Marketing Coordinator here at Biz Central USA and CharityNet USA. I started my career soon after college. I went to University of Tampa, both undergraduate and graduate school in marketing and economics. I went to Texas Instruments for quite a few years, spoke around the world, releasing their voice technology. Then in the end of the 80s, I'm pretty old, in the end of the 80s, I went to work in the music industry, producing groups like NXS and Wham, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany. Evolved into a record label, built that label to the #1 independent label in the country. Moved into the movie and TV business, and did documentaries and all kinds of video, but more importantly, the marketing for those companies like Warner Brothers and Universal. The in-depth, deep marketing that only they know how to do. And I've combined the resources that I learned from working for Fortune 500 business companies and Fortune 500 entertainment companies, and I try to bring that knowledge and the ways to apply that knowledge to those of you here in the small business world and the nonprofit world. And I really enjoy it here. We have a lot of fun, and let's get started. My show is not advancing. There we go. Social media and the nonprofit. We're going to go over today an introduction to social media. Many of you know what social media is, but it never hurts to get a realistic overview of exactly what it is and what it means for the nonprofit. Then we'll briefly review Twitter and how to use it, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Will help you develop a social media plan for a nonprofit, and finally show you how CharityNet USA's marketing services and processes work. And at that point, we'll be bringing in Howard Walker, who's been in the nonprofit industry for over 25 years. He's worked for the federal government as a grant writer, and he'll be giving you a preview of the grant writing session that's coming up in 2 weeks, as well as some other surprises that we'll have for you at that point. So let's get started. What is social media marketing? Social media marketing is using elements of social media to enhance your nonprofit business. It's maintaining a daily ritual to attract new volunteers and cultivate an interest in your cause and needs. And that daily routine is so important. We're going to go over that again in a little bit. But if you do something every day in social media, it will affect you. It will help you to get volunteers. It will help you to get donors that you never believed before that you could get. Because now, instead of being a nonprofit with a cause but based outside of Des Moines, Iowa, with social media, it doesn't matter where you're based. You're reaching people all over the world. You may find a donor in France that's particularly interested in your unique cause. So social media increases your reach. Using Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, your website, blog, and a good short YouTube video, which we'll go into, together to improve or increase your image in the market. And if you know the basics of marketing, I'll review it for a second. The more they see your name, good, bad, or indifferent, the more they see your name, the more they see your logo, the more they see that associated with your cause, the more likely they are to want to be involved with your cause. Why do nonprofits fail? Well, first of all, not enough people know they exist. And Part of that reason in this day and age right now is little or no social media networking. With social media, without cost, every single day you can be getting your name and your cause in front of the people. You no longer have to pay for printing. You no longer have to pay to stuff envelopes and address the envelopes and stamp them and everything else that goes along with the marketing of the 90s and before. Now, with the right group of people, you can be in quite a few people's face every single day without additional cost of printing, postage, and that good old post office that we all love. Another big reason is they don't do enough to get the word out. Well, that sort of ties in with the first reason. They didn't work hard enough for brand recognition, and that's, again, very important. When they see the symbol, the logo that represents your cause, your nonprofit, that should immediately trigger a response to them. They should know what that stands for. They should know why they care about you. And they didn't remind the public and potential donors daily why their cause matters. So all of those things are basically boiling down to one thing. The more you tell somebody about the good things you're doing and the good things that you want to do and why you're important to them and the community and why they're important to you, the more you have a potential of getting them as volunteers, good word of mouth people, donors, somebody that's going to be active in your next fundraising effort. So the things that come together through the internet is the social media, website, blogs, marketing overall, networking, and viral things that happen. We'll discuss that in a little bit, but a viral thing isn't a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's when you say a good message and in some form of social media, and people like that message or that video so much, they pick it up and start sending it out to their groups of friends. And they like it and start picking it up and sending it out to their groups of friends. That's a viral thing. So a successful nonprofit, and we talked about this a minute ago, a successful nonprofit must have a daily promotional habit. You need to do at least one of these things every day. I'm not saying you need to do all of these things every day, but at least one, and you will be successful in having a good social media network. Write or post a new blog on your website. Your website should have a blog. That blog should apply to your mission and your cause. And with people, if you want them to keep coming back and looking at your website, then you have to constantly be posting new blogs on the website about your cause, updates of what you're doing, maybe a spotlight on one of your donors. Spotlight meaning a short article of what your donor's business is and how wonderful they are to have donated time or labor or materials or money. Do a radio interview. Local radio stations are always looking for nonprofits to support. Have a good reason why you want to speak on the radio about a particular cause. If it's a good enough reason, you'll be able to do quite a few radio interviews. They love that because every radio station, you may or may not know this, but every radio station must give airtime to a certain number of nonprofit organizations in a year. A lot of times they scramble towards the end of the year to find enough people to fill their quota. So if you're in their face and you have a real good reason that isn't just, I want to talk on the radio about people giving me money, if instead we're trying to support this animal shelter so the dogs come to us, they're rehabbed and given to underprivileged children instead of being put down over in the ASPCA hall. And the radio station says, wow, that's a pretty good cause. You don't talk about donation, you talk about the cause. Obviously you want donations. They hear your name, they hear the cause, they really feel for what you're doing, and phone calls come in. All of it works together for name recognition, so people have heard about your cause and your mission, so they start to care about it. So when finally one-on-one you ask them for money, they've heard about you already. It's not a cold call. Do a webcast like what we're doing right now. You always collect the email addresses of all your donors, no matter where they are, all over the country or the world, and periodically, every month or 2 months, do a web broadcast updating them You put a PowerPoint presentation together or have somebody do it for you, and update them on the state of the cause, the state of what your particular organization is doing. If you're a church, update them on what your particular church is doing this month, what's coming up next month, what's coming up for the fall season, and what can they start preparing right now for the Christmas bazaar. It's just around the corner, you know, it's only 5 months away. This is the type of thing you can do with a regularly scheduled every month or every 2 months webcast, and that's also part of social media. Post on LinkedIn or form a LinkedIn meetings group. LinkedIn, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is a very important part of your social media network. LinkedIn is strictly business. It's all business people. But it doesn't mean that you can't talk about your cause and you can't get your business friends interested in donating. It's actually far more likely that you'll find donors on LinkedIn than you will on Facebook. A LinkedIn must have your picture, and it must be related to the director or one of the board of directors, not the cause itself, because it's about people, it's not about groups. However, you can you can join LinkedIn meeting groups and learn how the groups work, and then start your own LinkedIn group for your particular cause, and you'll be surprised how quickly you end up building people that want to be in this group. And now you have a group of people that have already asked to be part of your cause, and there's your volunteers for the next event coming up. LinkedIn, again, is a worldwide audience, and you'll be surprised if you haven't used LinkedIn before. It's becoming a very good resource. Write a letter to the editor. This is very, very underused anymore. Every newspaper that's a public newspaper must put in letters to the editor. And if you read them, some of them are to coin a better phrase, really wacky people saying things that are way off the deep end in response to certain editorials. They also can print letters to the editor and fulfill their requirement to have letters to the editor printed talking about a particular cause or charity. That's where you come in. If you get a letter to the editor printed telling the editor about your cause or charity, not asking for donations again, but exposing something about your cause that hasn't been exposed before and what your particular mission is, and they print that, you've now gotten 5 to 10 line inches of newspaper ad space for free. And they want you to have letters to the editor in, especially if you get them in the Sunday paper. And if that one's printed in one paper and your cause is a national cause, make sure to write a personal letter to every paper you can think of or every paper you can get a list of around the country and send the same letter to the editor. If you get 10% of them, it's more advertising than your nonprofit could probably ever afford, and it's all free. Link pictures and share pictures on Facebook. We'll go into that in a little bit, but by putting links on pictures, anybody in the picture is then linked to your website. And when people click on the picture to find out more information, it takes them back to your website if you do it correctly. Do at least one of these things that will publicize your cause each day through social media networking, and you will see an improvement in your donors, in the recognition of your cause, and the fulfillment of your mission. So let's start with Twitter. Twitter is a one-line message site, and there's been so much talk about Twitter being a social-only network. It's absolutely not true. Originally, it was sort of like a mass email system, but it's so big now that people don't use it for an email system. It's a one-line message system, and it can deliver links to your website, to webinars, deliver links to pictures, videos. We can even show you how you can put a link in, and while you're in the middle of Twitter, reading all these little one-line comments, you see a line that says video, and click on it, the video plays right in the middle of the Twitter page. There's all sorts of things that you can do with Twitter. It's very, very valuable for promoting a cause. It's not very valuable for saying, donate to my organization now, we deserve it, because there's 100,000 out there doing the same thing. However, if it's a link to a video that really tugs at the heartstrings about your particular cause, and the end of it, it has your logo and your website address, you'd be surprised how many people click on it, watch the video, and go to your website. But as with all social media, there's no tried and true set. If you do this, this many people will call you directly. No, it all works together like a cobweb. And all these things work together. All the different parts of social media work together to get people into your website. Now, your website is where you ask for donations. That is where you ask for volunteers. The social media part, all you do is ask people to go to your website. When they get to their website, they see even more about the wonderful cause and the mission you're on. And then they want to know, how can we donate to this fine organization? How can we donate time and services? Well, fancy, you should ask that. Now, how does Twitter advertise for free? It doesn't make any sense, right? How can they have this multi-billion-dollar site out there and they don't charge you anything for it? And besides, how does it work? Well, first thing, let's look at a Twitter fact. If you ask a question or answer a question that an individual asks you in your general Twitter feed, all of your followers see that message and see your response to that message. However, if you receive a question or a response from a follower, all their followers saw that question that they sent you or the response that they sent you afterwards. So let's say you have 1,000 followers and they have 1,000 followers, and they ask you a question, why should we care about lost dogs? And you send them back an answer and a link to a video. Well, all their people have seen the question about lost dogs and your Twitter address, so they know that you care about them. If you sent them back an answer that they approve of, they will then do what's called retweeting and retweet your answer and then thank you back to you. So all your Twitter followers have seen a question, your response, and a thank you from a concerned person out there that now understands your mission. All their followers have seen that you asked a question, or that they asked a question of you, that you answered the question, and they appreciate the answer. So now all their followers and all your followers are aware that something good is happening from your nonprofit organization. The presence of a tweet in a follow stream is called an impression. If any of you have tried to buy advertisements, probably not something as big as Time magazine, but they all use the same quotient. Time magazine will tell you that they have up to 4.5 million impressions of their magazine a week. An impression is how many times a person potentially sees that magazine every week. They consider a Time magazine that's in a doctor's office to have about 400 impressions a week attributed to that magazine, because there are approximately that many patients through that office, and they could potentially pick the magazine up and flip through it and see your ad. It doesn't mean 4.5 million people have seen that ad. It probably means, if you're lucky, 40,000 people have seen your ad. A Twitter impression is how many people have the potential of seeing the tweet by it being in somebody's Twitter stream. If somebody has 100,000 followers and they answer your question, if you've asked them a question and they answer you back, that means 100,000 impressions that have never seen your name before have now had the potential of seeing your name. So Twitter is pretty interesting when you come into just getting your name out there, getting yourself seen. You want to talk to as many other big charities as possible and ask them questions and try to get them to answer you. Try to get them to ask you questions and answer them right away. So when's the best time to market? Absolutely any time of the day or night. Marketing is the most important thing you can do, especially in a nonprofit. In a nonprofit, you're not really giving them a product other than goodwill, so you always want to be pushing. You always want to be marketing. Marketing should be a year-round process. You use marketing to capitalize on seasonal changes and national events. Many of you that are on our email list saw that last week we had a Memorial Day sale, and this week it's the Summer About to Begin sale. You find a particular theme, and it makes it more interesting for the people that you're marketing to or that you're giving information about. If we're talking again about the dog shelter, you might want to say, summer's coming, don't let those poor abused dogs be in overheated kennels. Our nonprofit provides air-conditioned facilities so they can be rehabbed and given to underprivileged children. Isn't that a wonderful thing? There's all sorts of ways that you can capitalize on the season because it makes people interested in reading on in what you have to say. There's never a time when an organization cannot utilize marketing. If you have a bake sale, that's nice, and it's great that all those people are already there. Oh, my work's done because we're collecting money from these people. No, your work's only just begun. That's when you make sure to have the signage around the bake sale talking about your charity, and the board should be there going up to each and every person that they can, trying to get them more involved. How would you like to help us out on our marathon that's coming up? How would you like to get involved in sending out tweets on awareness of this? Will you join our Twitter? There's a very simple thing. You just bought something from our bake sale. Please, here's our Twitter address. Join our Twitter and like us on Facebook. All of those things make sense because all of those things build your mailing list. Most important thing about marketing is be creative, have fun, but be consistent. So Facebook, you hear a lot about Facebook. They just sold it for $20 billion and lost their investors $8 billion the first 5 days of it being sold on the market. None of that means anything whatsoever to what you want to use Facebook for. As anything else with the for-profit world, the stocks have absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the company. Facebook is a very social network as compared to LinkedIn or even Twitter. You never use a logo for a picture on Facebook. Always your personal picture or the picture of a board member. You could, in a cause-related thing, use a picture of a puppy dog for the shelter, but it's best to use a personal picture. However, there are things that are called pages, and those pages are one-page websites that you can use as cause landing sites or event landing sites, and that talks strictly about one little portion of your cause or an event coming up with links back to your website, and those exist within Facebook, and they're a wonderful promotional tool. You may have asked at one point in the past, I just got used to the word like me on Facebook. Now, before it was called fan, like you have to become a fan of somebody or an event. What does all that mean? It simply means that you're giving them the right to send you periodic updates and messages to your Facebook from their Facebook. You, as a nonprofit, want as many likes as you can possibly get, because when you have an upcoming event, all of those people get the update of your event coming up. Everyone that has liked you automatically gets any update that you send out, but don't abuse the updates. 1 or 2 a day is the maximum that you can send. I suggest 2 or 3 a week. Promotional likes are the likes that you get during a marathon that you're conducting or during a bake sale that you're conducting, but they're the same as any other like. Once they like your Facebook, they are now in your Facebook mailing list, and they're now available to you to keep your mission in their mind, keep your cause in their mind. When the next bake sale comes, there's no telling that you'll be able to notify all the people that came to that bake sale. It may have been the best bake sale they ever went to in their life, and boy, that's on my calendar. I want to go to it next time. But the next year comes up, and your limited marketing budget never got the message out to them, so they never showed up. With a Facebook like, it's right in their face. Oh, my favorite organization's bake sale's coming. That pecan pie I love is going to be there. And they come. That's what Facebook is about. The best use is for announcement of events, promotions as a landing page, and cause marketing. A landing page for events and cause marketing and public relations is what you need to concentrate as a nonprofit for Facebook to be used on. Do not use it to talk about personal matters or politics. No matter what your personal beliefs are, no matter what your political beliefs are, you don't want to turn off a donor who may have other beliefs. When it comes to abused dogs, both sides of the aisle in Congress certainly would never say anything against an organization that wants to help use dogs. Don't turn off a donor by talking about personal issues to yourself. You want to talk about issues to your cause and your mission. Keep Facebook for nonprofits on track. 5 ways to create a hook. A hook is very important. When you're out there marketing in the social media network, you want to hook them in. You want to get a reason that they want to read the entire information about your particular cause. So you create interest by asking a question. What are cats thinking? Now right away you want the answer to that. You probably click on a link to that to see what are cats thinking. Well, the response, of course, would be, I really don't know, but I do know from the look on this poor cat's face that they're thinking they don't have a very good life, and we provide them a better life. We take them out of an abusive situation or a stray situation, nurse them back to health, and give them to poor underprivileged children. That's a hook. Counter a myth. Parents want a quick fix to poor study habits. Could drugs be the wrong answer? Of course, that would be a link that goes to an article talking about how Ritalin and other drugs are way overused with children and the ADD syndrome. All of a sudden, almost every kid in the world has ADD, rather than just realizing they have poor study habits. And you, as a nonprofit, specialize in tutoring children who are slow learners and turning them into fast learners. And here's what you can do for your children or for the children of your friends. And your costs are very low because you're a nonprofit. And here's the next class. Why don't you give us a call and talk about it? Then you have make a prediction. Why the U.S. will soon experience dramatic food shortages. Well, you'd use that if your nonprofit had to do with an organic grocery store or just an organization that promotes organic gardening or something like that. And you'd probably talk about how with more and more of the ma and pa farms going away and the backyard gardening losing its favor, we could end up in a situation where the super farms find it more profitable to sell our grain to Asia, and we have dramatic food shortages. In fact, it's predicted. You can always find a prediction by Googling. Any direction that you want a prediction, somebody's predicted it in a blog. We need your help. We need your volunteering. We need your donations, and we need you to have a backyard garden. And here's how it works. That's how that would work. Now, on this particular webinar for our organization, tweeted out, can you give the media a question they can use? Well, people wanted to know what the answer to that was, and the answer to that was come to the webinar and find out about it. Because we're talking about creating questions that make you click. Can you give the media a question they can use? Absolutely. Any question that gets you to read on, that's what the media wants to see. That's what social media wants to see. Social media is strictly localized newspapers that are so localized that they're now your own private newspaper, your own private broadcasting station. That's what social media is. And finally, give them a timely hook. It's tax time. Are you deducting all you can? Or summer's coming. Do you see a stray dog suffering in the heat? Or Christmas is coming. How much longer can these children survive without food while you're trimming your Christmas tree? Can't you give a little to the poor? This is hooks. The importance of marketing. I don't think I have to tell you how important I think marketing is, but while it can be tough to measure the return on investment of a marketing campaign, marketing is absolutely critical to every organization. If you don't market, you're not going to grow. People have to hear about you, not once, not 5 times, but sometimes 10, 20, 30 times before they're used to hearing your name. And at that point, they still might not be ready to donate time, money, or materials, but when they are, you're one of the names that comes first to mind, and that's what marketing is about, awareness. Marketing is the foundation that an organization builds their awareness and reputation on. That's why a 20-year-old company is more likely to be in business next year than a 6-month-old company if they've done their marketing correctly. Marketing promotes new causes, activities, and cements old relationships, like we were talking about with the bake sale. Maybe somebody that came to that bake sale just absolutely went crazy over a pecan pie they got, and they wouldn't care what it cost at the next bake sale. They want to be at the next one. But if you haven't continuously marketed and updated those people that came to that bake sale, when you have the next one, they're not automatically coming to it. If you do it correctly, you market it correctly, and you keep them updated correctly, next year, almost everybody that came to last year's bake sale will come, plus all the efforts you put out will bring a new audience and make your crowd that much larger. Otherwise, you're just fighting and struggling to do as well as you did last year. Marketing seeks to promote action. You know, that's the important thing about marketing. You always want to promote somebody to do something, to go to your website, to read your blog, to find out more about your mission, not necessarily always just to donate. And marketing is a necessity. If you want to grow, if you want to survive, you must market. So that brings us to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it has a whole special section and a whole special community. What happened? Hold on. LinkedIn has a whole special network and community that's just for the nonprofit. Now, there are groups in this, and you want to join one or two of the nonprofit groups that interest you, learn how they work, and then if you have a good, strong organization, form a LinkedIn nonprofit group for your particular mission and cause. You'll be surprised how quickly you build a group of people interested in your mission and cause. You're the leader of it, and you ask them to come and volunteer on an event. Many of those people will come and volunteer on that event, and they're people that you never knew before, that you probably never would have been able to get in contact with, because these are socially minded people that want to get involved in causes that interest them. Never use a logo, ever, under any circumstances in a LinkedIn situation. It must be a picture of one of your board members, your president, your head of volunteerism, and named after them, not your organization. Though you may talk about your organization, though you may start a LinkedIn group that's specifically about your mission, your cause, even named after your organization, your LinkedIn membership itself must be your name and your information. Always be all business. There are other places to talk about going to visit your Aunt Tilly this summer. That's not what LinkedIn is about. Talk about your mission, your cause, talk about a donor and how wonderful they were and what they just donated to you, and talk about an event you have coming up, but never personal things on LinkedIn. Connect with like-minded people. You'll find the longer you're on, the more people you're connected with that may be directors of other nonprofit organizations, and you wonder, well, they're just going to steal my connections. They have no idea who your connections are either. Everybody has their own unique connections. But by being connected to other nonprofit directors, you could find that you have synergy there. You want to put on a bike-a-thon, but your animal shelter just can't quite afford the time and the materials, and you don't have enough donors to do it on your own. But lo and behold, there's an underprivileged, underfed children's charity on the other side of town that also can't quite afford to do it on their own. But you combine efforts, and the two of your missions and causes don't clash or compete with each other, all of a sudden you can do this wonderful bike-a-thon or marathon or walk-a-thon for both of your causes, and that all came because of a LinkedIn connection. So that's what you use LinkedIn for. Do not use it as a personal site. Use it as a personal business site that's related to your cause and its marketing. Few tricks you can learn from LinkedIn. Status update. What a status update is, it can be done at any time, but once a week it's sent out to everybody who has connected with you on LinkedIn. It appears at the top of the page, right by your name, right by your professional picture, and you want a professional picture up there, not a crazy picture of you falling in the lake. That would be Facebook. LinkedIn is the place you want a professional picture of whoever it is that's responsible for your LinkedIn site. It lets you promote anything you want right there. So you have a bake sale coming up next week, you put right there, our cause is such and such, we do such and such, our mission is this, we have a bake sale coming up at such and such an address, click here for more information. And everyone that's connected to you will get that message. You can insert live links to your website, to YouTube videos, to PDF announcements, which, as you know, here's a 14-page PDF on the advantages of our dog shelter. And they can click on it, and all of a sudden there's a full-color 14-page report that comes up and tells them about your dog shelter right from a LinkedIn status update. Use status updates at least once a week because it's sent out for free once a week. It's like a mass email for nothing to all those people that are your connections. They all get the status email emailed to them once a week from LinkedIn, and it's free. News update on you and whatever you want, and you, as the newspaper editor and publisher, decide what that update says. YouTube. A lot of times people think YouTube is that annoying place where their kids go to listen to really bad music and see things they shouldn't be seeing. That's not what YouTube is. YouTube does have a search function where you can go onto the YouTube site itself and search for anything you want. And there's so many hundreds of millions of videos on there that you can find just about anything you want. But the wonderful people of YouTube provide a service, and the basic service is what you're interested in. Video hosting can be very expensive. However, on YouTube, it's a free video hosting service. And you can link that video hosting and embed it directly into your website, so your website can have videos on it. And people click on them and watch them right in your website. However, they're hosted at the expense of YouTube, not at your expense. It's a truly wonderful thing if you use it correctly, and under those grounds, it's a wonderful thing for nonprofits. So you use it as a video hosting facility. Use small format for easy access, because most people watch YouTube on their telephones nowadays, and you want them to be able to search for your cause. And if they are one of those video searchers on YouTube, you still want them to be able to find your video, whether they're in your website or not. So you want to be mobile ready. It's very expensive to be mobile ready with a video unless you put it on YouTube and they do it automatically for free. Now, a YouTube video should optimally be 30 seconds to 90 seconds in length. Any longer, people get bored and flip on to the next video. So get your message out, just like an elevator speech, in 30 to 90 seconds. Be as animated as possible. The picture should be switching constantly, not a static image of your logo and you talking behind it. People switch out of that before 30 seconds. You want lots of things coming at them. That's what people want to see in a video on a website, or whether they're looking at the YouTube site itself. And finally, be topical. You want to talk about your cause and your mission. That's what it's about. That's what's going to get you the maximum return on your efforts of making a video. You need a YouTube strategy. What interests your core audience? Now, for instance, if we're talking about the dog shelter, what interests your core audience, you hope, is either their interest in the care and well-being of dogs, in which case you might want to have a series of 60-second videos on the terrible condition that you got the dog in and the wonderful condition afterwards when it's handed to this underprivileged child. You might also want to have a series on dog care. What's the best way to keep a dog parasite free? What's the best way to clip a dog's toenails? All of these things, branded with your nonprofit and your specific cause, are great for getting your audience to understand what you're about. And again, social media is strictly about getting them to remember your name. It's not strictly about getting the donation directly. It's about getting them to your website. Your website is about getting a donation. So how could you set up your video so your core audience will find you? Well, that's interesting. You do it by, like I just said, you set up a group of videos that relate to what your cause is, but are also of interest to a particular group of people. So they feel indebted to you for giving them instructional videos, and are that much more likely to listen to what you have to say about your cause, your mission, and how they can help. For quick promotion, videos must be no longer than 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Now, I'm saying they can be up to 2 minutes for that if you're promoting your event. We have this wonderful bike-a-thon coming up, and here's all the rules and information for it. Even though it's a totally local event, you can still host it right on YouTube and not pay a dime for it. And in all of your handouts and leaflets, you can say, go to YouTube, this exact address, and there's all the rules for entrance. And you're much better off having 40 90-second videos than one 90-minute video. If you have a video producer, oh, I have to say it in a movie-length video, you may get 10 people the entire life of that video to watch it, other than people directly involved in your organization. However, if you put out 40 topical 90-second videos, you'll have somebody viewing it every second of every day. One of those videos will be being viewed, and they're all branded to your organization. Every YouTube video must contain the following. Hi, I am, or we are, the organization. We are important to you because here is what we can do for you. And that's the little bit of training on how to trim a dog's toenails or whatever. And you end with, find me here and follow me on Twitter. And finally, ask for a response. Ask for a response. Say, we want you to follow us on Twitter, and we want you to come to our website and find out more about our cause. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Please go to www. and see more information about our cause. And at very least, watch the next video. We got lots more to tell you about dogs. Keep it simple. So, what are the big four in social media? Quick review. Twitter, used to send a well-crafted one-liner with links to events, videos, websites, and blogs. Facebook, your Facebook page can be a mini website used as promotion to other events. LinkedIn, our business connections, networks, places to form groups and promote events. And YouTube is very simply free video hosting for your videos. Social media works together. A savvy nonprofit business today uses a plan that includes all social media together to promote their website and blog activity. The anchor of your social media website has got to be your blog and your website. For those of you unfamiliar with the term blog, a blog is where you write articles about your cause and your mission. It's a particular page within your website, but a blog is what gets people to visit your website. A blog is linked to other people's blogs about similar causes, and you actively ask them to link back to your blog. It causes activity on your website. Activity on your website causes people to call you. People calling you causes people to donate to your cause and volunteer to help your efforts in the world. The main ways to get valuable coverage on similar industry blogs. Now, we just talked about linking back and forth. There are other ways to do that. You can offer to write an article for another website, a guest post. Say another dog shelter in another city. You've written a blog that a lot of people have commented that they like that information on how to know if a dog's being abused. If your neighbor's dog is being abused, signs to look out for or something like that. You can offer to give that to another organization to post on their blog. That's called a guest post. Of course, you have it linked back to your own site. Cross-promotion. Ask another blogger, give them the opportunity to interview you about your cause. Often bloggers want to interview somebody and they just can't find it, so make sure that others know that you're open for interviews. Offer the other blogger a mention or post on your blog in exchange for the mention or posting on their blog. Look at their listing of different blog articles, find something you like of theirs, and offer to trade. You put my blog on your site, I'll put your blog on my site. Offer to run a free advice column on their blog. You could write one advice column with a new update every week, advice on dog care, advice on knowing what dog's being abused, something like that. And if you have 8 or 10 other bloggers that are interested in that advice column, well, the same advice column can go in every single one. That's how newspaper columnists do it. They write one column, but it appears in papers all over the country. Offer your T-shirt or a service or a book or something that you have as a prize on their blog. Again, it's exposure. Again, it has your logo there. And always get a plug or a link back to your blog site for any of the above. A marketing budget. Marketing budget for a nonprofit typically covers, if you can afford it, advertising, promotional collateral, website and web marketing, public relations efforts, and events. But we find in this day and age, the one thing that you need to do, the one thing that you need to promote is your website and your web marketing. And all the social media sites work together as additional marketing with only the cost of your volunteers to run them to help promote that website and the web marketing. Public relations is expensive. Events are expensive. Promotional collateral is very expensive. That's when you give away koozies and frisbees. Advertising is almost insurmountable for most nonprofits, but there's nobody that can afford to run a nonprofit that can't afford a website, a web marketing, and social media network. Every organization's budget will vary on their size, the size of the organization, and the funds that they raise. Remember that social media budgets are based on man-hours spent on them. They are the best value to a nonprofit if they're planned and executed properly with qualified volunteers. Traditional advertising, this is advertising form of communication that typically attempts to persuade potential donors or members to take action. Traditional paid advertising includes the things so many of us are already familiar with: billboards, magazines, newspaper ads, broadcast spots, and direct mail. Very expensive, very expensive. So what's online marketing? Online marketing is also referred to as web marketing. It includes social media, search engine marketing, blogging, and SEO, search engine optimization. The internet has brought many unique benefits to marketing: low cost, global audience, 24/7 day presence, and flexibility. So why do people go online? A lot of us have misconceptions about that. Oh, they go online to look at bad things. No, they don't. According to a survey done by Pew Research Institute, people want to accomplish something when they go online. People are not aimless surfers. The average web user is a goal-oriented person interested in finding information and/or communicating with others. 93% of all web users check their Facebook or LinkedIn account daily. Common web marketing strategies. As with traditional marketing methods, a successful web marketing strategy combines multiple methods: email marketing, social networking, blogging, video and photo sharing, SEO, press releases, search engine optimized press releases. Very important. Don't just put a press release out there anymore unless you've had it SEO optimized, because press releases go online, and search engines look for those press releases by certain keywords, and way too complicated to go into in one webinar. But you don't want to pay a public relations agent to put out a press release unless it's search engine optimized. You want to have eye-catching site content. Your website has got to be designed so the eye is brought to the center, so the eye is brought down, so you're encouraged to go from page to page until you get to that all-important Donate Now button. Social networking, it focuses on building online communities of people who share interests or activities. It's tailor-made for the nonprofit world. You look for people who are interested in exploring the interests and activities of others, but in your case, specifically, the interest and activities related to your mission. It's critical to be active and engaging in order to see results. Using social media to reach future donors and to communicate with current community members can be extremely effective and cost efficient. I think you're beginning to see why it's cost efficient. You advertise in a newspaper, it's what, $1,800 for a normal 10-inch by 10-inch ad. You advertise on your Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and tie it all together with a brand new shiny video, and what does it cost you? Small amount maybe to make a video. Maybe you have a volunteer that makes a video, but probably best to get it professionally made. Everything else is part of social media. You already have it set up. Blogs and social media. Very important article and blog writing, and if you're not good at writing them, one of your volunteers is, and if not, have a blog written, but you want it written correctly. You want it to be an informative piece of writing that focuses on giving tips, advice, expert opinion on chosen topic, which is your mission and cause. The article writing is a great way to promote public awareness of an organization's mission and background for their unique cause or services. This is done in the blog section of your website, as we discussed. And it should be the one thing you promote most through social media for overall good results. If you have a good active blog that changes every week, lots of archives of articles over time, you'll end up with 20, 30 articles about your cause that then become in the archives, and people can search and read on and read more information. But if you've attracted the right people that are interested in your cause, and your blog is set up correctly, you'll have people coming back to your site as a reference site. And once you have a reference site, more people come to your site because it's now known to the search engines as a reference point on, let's say, the animal shelter. And somebody searching for information on abused dogs go right to your site. And it gives you that much exposure and that much more possibility of finding somebody. You pull the heartstrings and get their donation or their help. So what's a digital marketing plan? It's where you put all these things together with your website: newsfeed, design, blog, forum, advertising, analytics, search engines, and marketing. The first step in a digital marketing plan is decide what you're marketing, what's your cause, what's your mission. Brand what you're marketing, so when they look at that brand or logo or the colors involved with your particular nonprofit organization, it reminds them of your cause. And stick to that brand in all you do, everything: your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your website, your blog, your YouTube videos, all need to be the same color, look, design, and have the logo of your organization that over time will become synonymous with your cause. You want to set up your social network. Do not use your old Facebook from college and your sister's Twitter site. Set something up new that's specifically for this organization. Set up professional-looking sites branded in the color, look, and logo of your organization, and that are used only for your organization. If you're going to still want to have a personal Twitter or a personal Facebook, have that on the side. This should be only information on your nonprofit organization. Carry that brand to your website and carry the website through to the blog, so everything is the same color, look, and feel, the same brand. You want to develop a schedule to time your branded network to work together, like we talked about in the very beginning. You want to constantly be doing something every day in some form, some point of your social network, all pushing back to your website. For a social network to work for you, your marketing campaigns go in the top, and then used properly, planned with a goal in mind. Social media network works as a funnel for calls to action and donor leads. Set up your blog and stay on topic. There are many choices out there in the digital world. The properly designed blog and social media network has a digital identity, a plan, and stays on target. Digital marketing plan. There are many ways to develop and format a digital marketing plan. The issues that should be key in this marketing plan, and the things I want you to think about, are: one, decide on one digital identity so everything looks and feels the same. In color, in design, should all look and feel the same. If you look throughout this presentation, everything is blue, red, and white with black writing here and there. That's our colors, that's our design, that's our brand. So we stay with that look. So decide on one digital identity. Be consistent in all the digital world. Have a social network that's unique to one organization. Don't try to promote yourself at the same time. Have a blog that fits your digital identity, your cause, your mission. Use keywords and phrases that fit your target market. By developing a marketing plan, an organization will be better prepared to execute their marketing programs throughout the year. So strategy is most important. You bring all these things together. Do you have strategic planning? Does strategic planning fit into your marketing plan? Of course it does. Implementing the plan, that's where strategic planning comes in. An organization should have a digital marketing plan as a guide rather than a set-in-stone deal. You need to be persistent. If you fall down, you always get back up and try again. Just because one promotional event doesn't work doesn't mean you can't do exactly the same one again, but change just the things that you learned that you did wrong. There's no magic bullet, and time is necessary to achieve results. But once achieved, an organization's return on investment can skyrocket. It takes time for your brand to get out there into people's heads. But once you're recognized as the one organization that protects dogs in your city, or nationally or internationally, your cause is recognized as somebody that's specifically involved in one specific cause, then it snowballs. Because when they think of that cause, they think of your brand, your look, your colors, your digital design, your logo. CharityNet USA can help. We're here for you. We can help you with marketing plans. We can build social media networks. We can help you with digital identities. And we're just a phone call away. The services we provide here at CharityNet USA offer a variety of digital and traditional services, including press release writing, distribution, newsletter campaign and development, starter sales kit, media kit, traditional branding, logos, brochures, websites, articles and blogs, both writing them and distributing them. We can actually help you with researching and writing blogs if you absolutely don't have someone that can do it, or we can write your first one to kick it off, and you can take it from there. We can teach you how to do it. Social networking, we can set up your social network, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your YouTube account, and train you on how to use it. And again, we can train you on how a blog works and how to start using what's called SEO, search engine marketing. So in conclusion, before we get to the question and answers, traditional e-marketing strategies are extremely effective in today's market. An integrated mix of traditional and e-marketing methods into an organization's marketing plan has the potential to produce the best results. It's necessary to keep an organization's target market in mind when choosing marketing strategies, when choosing what to implement and how to develop a digital brand. And nowadays, marketing isn't what it used to be. It's not how great your business card is and how many times you can put an ad in the paper and will somebody possibly mention you on the nightly news. Now it's about putting together a digital brand, and when they search on search engines for something to do with your cause, your name, your look, your logo, your brand, your colors keeps popping up in articles, in blogs, in Twitter accounts, and in YouTube videos. And pretty much they get the message. If they want to be involved with that cause, they want to be involved with you. So what do? We teach you, we train you, so you can help others. We offer help, but you must want to accept it. If a hungry man comes to you for food, you've heard this before, you can give them a fish, but teach them to fish, and they'll be able to feed themselves for a lifetime. So we try to teach you to fish. What do you need to decide now? What is your identity? What is your digital identity? Do you have all your social media network, your web, and your blog identities in place? Do you have your 90-second video on your cause or your mission? And finally, what is your goal? Then you need to ask yourself, is there a possibility that we could help this process be easier? If it is, you can contact us at CharityNet USA. You can contact me personally at BizCentral USA, Tom at BizCentralUSA.com. And if you join us on either or both of our Twitter accounts, and you have a Twitter account, we'll follow you right back, and you will receive our daily and weekly messages on what's going on with our causes and little tips and tricks on how Twitter can work better for you. Our phone number again is 407-857-9002, and it's question and answer time. I'll go into that in a second. I'm going to pull out your questions, and if you'll give me just a minute, I'm going to try to get our guest to come and help with the questions. I see we have a lot of questions here, and we will get to every single one of them. If you would please be patient for a second, I will be right back. Okay. We have a question here. If you already have a website, what do you really need a social media network for? I hope that was a question that was asked at the very beginning when we started talking, because I think I went through a lot of the reasons why you need a social media network. The main reason is a social media network is a very inexpensive way of getting the word out, and it gets people to your website. One thing you want to ask yourself about your website is, when is the last time you updated that website? A lot of people have a website, and when they look at it through Google Analytics, they realize that only 5 or 6 people visited it in the last 3 months. Websites nowadays are a lot different than they were just 3 years ago. They're SEO optimized. They're able to be looked at by mobile phones, which is very important. That's where most people search nowadays. Maybe not you and me, but the younger generation is constantly searching for websites on a mobile phone. And I'm very excited. Howard Walker, long time nonprofit industry consultant, has just walked in the room. Howard's been in the nonprofit world for 25 years. He's worked for the federal government grading grants and many other aspects. I'm going to turn the microphone over to him for question and answers. And if you talk just a little bit about yourself at first, Howard. We've been through a whole long thing today on social media marketing.
Well, one of the things is I think we've gone over this in previous webinars, and the days when you're just handing out flyers as part of your outreach are gone. Now you're dealing with a bigger market. You can go much further than your neighborhood, and so these social media types of efforts are really valuable to nonprofits now.
Okay, I just got a question. I'll take this one very quickly. Why shouldn't somebody post a logo on Facebook as their picture profile? Mainly because we're in the nonprofit industry and we try to follow rules. And one of the main rules is in Facebook and LinkedIn both, is thou shalt not use a logo on our site as your main picture. You can, however, post that logo on your page. You can post it as a background. We can show you how to do that easily. But your main picture that they ask you to post must be a person. If somebody turns you in having a logo, they don't care who you are, they'll ban you from your own site. It's just one of their rules and something you have to go along with. Can you comment a little on that?
Well, yeah, it's appropriate to use your logo wherever possible, but this is one of the places that you should not use it. Again, you have plenty of places to use it on your brochures, on your banners, all kinds of places you can use your logo, on your websites. And I hope everybody has a website, because if you don't, we can help you with that also.
And as we discussed, the website is what you have social media for, because it's to funnel everything back to your website, and your blog, which updates daily, monthly, weekly, whatever it is. Whenever you have a new blog post, that's the excuse. One of the questions on here is, won't people get disgusted if you keep bothering them on social media every day? Something to that nature. Not so good for nonprofit organizations because you might be pestering them every day. That's why you put a good message.
Well, you got to look at your audience. If you're a nonprofit, your audience should be those people who are concerned with nonprofit. They're stakeholders. It could be funders. It could be people who need your services. It could be a number of people. It could be elected officials. All these are stakeholders that you deal with on a daily basis. And it is not a matter of pestering someone. It is about letting them know what's going on. It's about communication. It's about communicating what you have to offer, what your new services are, what's going on within your organization. It's getting the word out and letting people know exactly what you have to offer. Don't forget, a nonprofit is a public benefits corporation. It is not as if you're just doing this for your own benefit. You're doing this for the public good, so there's no such thing as pestering somebody when you're doing something for the public good.
Okay, Patricia's asking here how they go about, no, Selma asked this, how they go about hiring a social media person to manage Twitter and Facebook, what are the key skill sets you should be looking for. I want you to comment on this, but the first thing I want to say is you don't want to hire an individual to handle it for just your organization. An organization like us can monitor it very inexpensively, and you need to have yourself or a volunteer spend 5 minutes a day on social media. That's all it takes.
Well, while this webinar is about social media, let me emphasize the importance of having an organization that you trust, organization that knows your organization for all of your services. So, for instance, the organizations such as ours can do strategic planning. We can do webinars. We can do websites. We can do your logos. So working with an organization that can do all of those things has an advantage and an added value. We know who you are. We understand what your business is about, and we've worked with you in the past. So I would say hiring a firm that can do all of those things. We're a one-stop resource center for nonprofits, and not only just what we're talking about, but all of our products are geared not only for startup, but growth and maintaining your success.
Okay, Nina has asked, can you explain the difference between a cover photo and a profile photo as it relates to the new timeline? I personally don't like the new timeline, but that doesn't make any difference. I don't like a lot of stuff. Your profile photo must be a person. Your timeline cover photo is whatever you want it to be. And the only thing that has to be a person and that the site has to be related to is the profile photo. That has to be a person. Everything else is wide open to do whatever you want to on Facebook. LinkedIn's another story. Your logo can go in certain places, but they don't encourage that. They encourage that to be a person representing a business. Facebook, it's all about promotion, except they have that strict rule about that profile photo must be a photo. I know because I've gotten in trouble on it before. Trust me, don't use your logo there. Okay, why is it important that I mentioned before that the website needs to be updated if it's more than 2 or 3 years old, especially if it's 4 or 5 years old? Can you explain the difference?
Well, not only 2 or 3 years old. Think of yourself, you're a nonprofit that's providing services to the community. All of that changes almost daily. Your services change. The environment in which you're working changes. And so you may be adding services. You may be taking away services. All of those things need to be reflected. Your website should reflect where you are at that moment almost. And so if you're behind time, if you haven't updated it in a couple of years, that's the picture that people have of you 2 years ago. And I'm quite sure that's not the picture that you really want people to see. So it should be updated. You should always be, it is like inviting someone into your house. That's what a website is, because people look at that first, and you just want to make sure your house is in order. It reflects what you want them to see about you, because in many instances they won't even talk to you. They'll look at your website.
Before people start dropping off, I want to give the offer that our CEO allowed on this particular deal. If you call Howard for the rest of the day today, instead of the normal 5% coupon for watching the webinar, which will be sent out to you by email, if you call him today and just initiate a conversation with him, not necessarily buy marketing services today, but you're entitled to a 10% discount on any of the CharityNet USA marketing services. If you call him today, nobody gives discounts on services. It's just not done. But we really think that digital branding and social media and marketing is an important thing. So his phone number is the same as mine. Let me move these questions back over. 407-857-9002.
Extension 507.
Extension 507. And his email address is howard@bizcentralusa.com. That's howard@bizcentralusa.com. Another question just came in. I saw it as I took them down. Okay. With the frequency that it takes to keep engaged on blogs, tweets, questions, do you have a source for a written plan on how to manage this process? Well, as far as a source, it's something that you learn to do, and it's as easy as getting up in the morning and reading your emails. It's just something that you do. The social media package, which is really very inexpensive, we train you on how all that's done. As far as going to an online source of how to do it, it's really strange. You can even search YouTube videos, and nobody really wants to tell you how to do a consistent plan.
I think one of the things is just decide what your schedule is and how much time you're going to set aside for it. I mean, it does take time for these things, and I think that's what they're talking about. How do I set aside time? Well, this is an important part of your organization, and I'm quite sure you have other things to do too. Now, there's a number of ways you can do it. You can get some volunteers who are trained to help you out.
An intelligent and responsible volunteer.
Yes, so you can have a volunteer who's dedicated to that, and every nonprofit should have volunteers. But you want to be able to maintain that open line to keep things up to date. Once you're committed to these types of social media, you don't want to start something and then fall off of it and don't hear back from you in 2 or 3 weeks. Make the commitment that this is the way I'm going to go, and be able to contribute to it on a daily basis.
Now here we have several questions that I missed. They're back up a bit from Patricia, asking about email marketing and how do email marketing strategies work, and how can you measure return on investment. I know the email marketing strategies that we use a system that actually tells you how many of those emails are opened, and within the emails what's been clicked on. She also asked if that can replace a newsletter. Well, you know that's the only way to go with a newsletter.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easy to measure return on investment. I mean, as people respond to those emails, all you need to do is have a system and just say, how did you hear about us? So you'll identify how they heard about you. And another thing too is whatever that email, the subject of that email is, whatever the response it draws in, you'll see an uptick in the responses to that particular subject that you emailed about.
Yeah, I know. If we send an email out, we can, if you send out bulk letter, most of them end up in the garbage can. They estimate about 2% are actually opened on bulk mail. If it's a nonprofit and you know everybody on your mailing list, maybe 20% are open. The beauty of email marketing is there's no printing cost. There's no putting the label on the envelope. You don't have to pay for the envelope. You don't have to pay for the postage. The post office stays totally out of it. But the tracking situation is wonderful. You know exactly not only how many opened it, but by email address, and therefore by their address and phone number, exactly who opened the emails and exactly who clicked and went through to your website. So it lets you know who are the people that are really interested in your cause and who are just emails in your email list.
Also, every nonprofit should have a basic database of who their stakeholders are. By stakeholders, I mean, if you're a nonprofit, who are other nonprofits you deal with? Who are the elected officials? Who are the people that you serve that might be useful? Who are the businesses that you deal with? All of these people should be in your database, and you should be communicating with them through all the social media on a regular basis. So that should be your basis right there. I've told people that in many instances you can get a list of nonprofits from your local state and state government agencies. You can do the same thing and find out about the list of churches. There's easy ways, other agencies that you might collaborate with or might be useful to you. have a list of those agencies. You deal with them every day, or you will be dealing with them every day, and you should set up a database of how to collect them. Also, when you have fundraisers, why don't you have emails there? I mean, all of these are things that you can build into your database. So when you have this social media, you have recipients that you can actually send to. It's not cold calling.
Final question today. We have somebody that has a church, and they're wondering if social media is respectable for a church to use.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, all you need to do is look around and see many churches, not even just large congregations, churches with large congregations. All of them, it's about communication. It is about reaching people. And it's not so much the method in which you reach them, but the message that you are sending to them. And so it becomes important that people understand about how to use this medium. Sure, it is different, it is new, but it is a way of reaching people. And as we say more and more, churches are really beginning to come to the forefront of providing services to the community. So they should have this is a weapon to communicate with the community.
All right. Again, we want to thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. It's always a pleasure. And as we told you, you have the 5% discount as a special thank you to everybody watching the webinar. But our CEO has authorized 10% if you call Howard today and talk to him about marketing services. You don't have to purchase them today. Just open a conversation. And it's just a special thank you for joining us. We're always happy to give out information. As you know, these are almost 100% knowledge, and we're about helping you in this fine industry of the nonprofit world. In 2 weeks, we're happy to announce that Howard Walker will be doing a grants basic class. How do you prepare for a grant? How do you become grant ready? That's 2 weeks from today at 2 o'clock. We'll be sending you a link along with the recording of this webinar later today. Again, to contact Howard Walker, it's 407-857-9002, extension 507. And to email him, it's howard@bizcentralusa.com. I'm at tom@bizcentralusa.com. Thank you very much, everyone. We've enjoyed it, and we will see you in 2 weeks.